here with a 9? That's right, Mr. Galah. And have any of you ever heard about the 9 consciousnesses before?
The old cocky spreads out his wings to let some air in.
Well, today I'll explain them all to you one by one, and then in tomorrow's lesson how they all interconnect and coordinate with one another. Please be aware that it's an extremely complex subject, and that today's lesson will only be a very basic introduction. Also, I'd be ever so grateful if you'd be kind enough to keep any questions until after I've finished.
Not a problem, Gang, mate. We're here to listen and learn, mate. So you just fire away.
Please do, Mr. Gander, please do.
The cocky gives Warramoo Eagle a little bow of respect and then continues.
Very well then. Now, the first 5 consciousnesses are our 5 senses. Sight, smell, taste, touch and sound. We experience them through our 5 sense organs: eyes, nose, tongue, skin and ears. And we use these senses to communicate between our inner selves and the world around us, or our spiritual and physical existences. Our 6th consciousness, perception, is what we use to first acknowledge any of the information being relayed via our 5 senses. In other words, it's the first step towards becoming aware of anything.
I see.
The 7th consciousness, conception, is what we use to identify the information being relayed, such as who or what it is, or exactly what's happening, etc. Of course, this isn't always an easy or simple thing to do. Sometimes we need to go back and forth through our 5 senses several times before we're able to get a clear answer. In other words, we may need to re-listen or look more carefully, smell again, touch again, or even taste something again before we can correctly identify what it is. Our 7th consciousness also contains our basic characteristics and reacts to our 8th and 9th consciousnesses. Once anything is ever correctly or incorrectly identified, what we have stored in our 8th consciousness, including all our memories and habits, is what determines how we will react or be affected by it. The reason for this is because our 8th consciousness contains everything good or bad we've ever said, done or thought. I prefer to call this our karma. Now, for those of us who are unfortunate enough to have a lot of bad karma stored in our 8th consciousness, the result is more likely to be a case of bad habits, distorted memories, misguided feelings and reactions to things, which in turn can cause suffering and unhappiness.
Kangabunji looks happy that he correctly identified the reason for his foolish words to Gang the night before.
For example, we may become easily angered, see things incorrectly, experience unnecessary fears, make wrong decisions and so forth. On the other hand, if our karma is generally good, then we're much more likely to see things clearly and correctly, react with wisdom and compassion rather than with fear or anger, and generally deal with things more positively and successfully.
I don't quite get what you mean, Gang.
Okay, little brother, let me give you an example. Whenever we're angry or upset, we're usually easily disrupted or aggravated by the slightest thing. But when we're in a good mood, the same things often don't even bother us, or we approach and overcome them with relative ease.
I think I get ya.
The most powerful and important consciousness of all is our 9th consciousness, because it's where all our wisdom, compassion and hidden potential can be found, and it's also where our enlightenment exists. Whenever we're fortunate enough to have its rich and rewarding qualities shining forth throughout our life, we're able to see our lives much more clearly and realise the things we need to change to improve ourselves. Enlightenment acts like a ray of bright light shining into a dark place. The difference is like day is to night.
Flasherhorse momentarily forgets he's agreed to keep quiet until Gang Gang has finished speaking.
So how come we've not heard anything about all this before?
I expect you're learning about this now, Mr. Horse, because it's your time to do so. Everything has a time and place, you see, and that includes the effects of our past actions. In fact, we can never be certain what will pop up from our karma next. One moment we can be gliding along happy and bubbly. The next our life can be bumpy and absolutely miserable. But the good news is, once we learn the art of making contact with the core of our ninth consciousness, our enlightenment, we're able to change just about anything. Then we can even change our poisons into medicine.
While Gang Gang is explaining, Bluey is recalling how he passed through several rims before reaching the beautiful light. He wonders whether it might have had something to do with that.
Unfortunately, many of us in this world are easily fooled by our bad karma into believing what's actually evil to be good and what's actually good to be evil. Then, when things go wrong, we wonder why it's happened and often end up blaming it on something or someone else. Sadly, instead of getting rid of bad karma, this misconception only helps it grow worse and become even more powerful next time around. When someone's karma is generally good and he goes wrong in life, he'll often get warnings to guide him back onto the right track. This often happens as a result of a bad dream or during his daily activities. On the other hand, someone with bad karma is more likely to get no warnings at all. He'll often get away with things until in the end the mountain he builds will come crashing down upon him.